Hey Honors English 1 students who are not exempting the final exam. I wanted to give you a quick review, a little bit more in depth on a few areas that I think we either did not cover in depth or that you did not get the benefit of a video review from me earlier this week. And I wanted to remedy that and give you an opportunity to take a look at a couple of sections so that you can score your best score on this final exam. Okay, so one section that we have covered through No Red Ink, but there are some of you that may need to go back and practice that, is in regard to comma rules. So we did some practices early on No Red Ink. However, some of you needed to go back and make corrections and to review that some more. So my suggestion for you for the comma rules is that you can review the rules that are found in the final exam review, but best of all would be for you to complete the practice lessons that I created in No Red Ink. They are not for a grade, so don't worry about that, but you will be assured by your score when you receive a passing score that you are prepared for that section. Okay, so I've created 3 practice activities called Final Exam Review 1, Final Exam Review 2, Final Exam Review 3. 3 practice activities that help you with what's going to be tested on the final exam. So how to use commas with the positive phrases, how to use commas with lists and introductory phrases, when to use commas to avoid confusion, and the correct usage of a comma with both coordinating and subordinating conjunctions. Okay, and I know that will benefit you also in the long run as a writer. Another section, so again, you can find that in No Red Ink, and you can also study the list on your final exam review. Another section that we've covered in passing, but we have not done a lot of explicit practice on, is analyzing a passage for tone. So, I know we've talked about it when we were doing short stories and the Cask of Amontillado, but I felt like some of that instruction was fragmented because of the way we were having to do it. So I want to show you these 3 practice sections. You will have on the test a section of text, and you'll be asked to analyze the diction, so that's the words that the author uses, the syntax, which is the structure, the sentence structure, and the imagery that you see to determine what is that speaker's attitude towards the subject. That's really just what tone means. What is the speaker's attitude towards the subject? So let's just take a look at this practice passage together. Often you feel you've done nothing when you've actually done a lot. That's because what you did do seemed beneath notice. It was so small that it didn't, quote, count. But it did, just as each stitch counts toward a finished dress, each brick or nail toward a house you can live in, each mistake toward knowing how to do things right. So would you say the speaker's attitude towards whoever he's talking about, you, is hesitant, encouraging, or amused? Okay. What you're looking for, so yes, look at the content of what's being said, but look at how it's being said. So look at how he's talking about what counts, but it does count. Each mistake, you learn how to do things right. That's because what you did do seemed beneath notice. It was so small that it didn't count, but it did. Okay, so do you have evidence for hesitant? Not really. Is there anything that shows us that he is amused? Not really. Really, this whole passage is encouraging, and you can take a look at word choice and at the structure of these sentences to determine that this is an encouraging passage. The speaker seems to be encouraging the audience. Okay, so let's take a look at this passage. It says, a vaccine is a preparation of killed or weakened germs that is injected under the skin and causes the blood to produce antibodies against the disease. Effective vaccines, for instance, have been developed for smallpox, rabies, and polio. Okay, so our choices are objective, arrogant, and regretful. Now, if you're on the exam and you don't understand a word, then you have complete permission to use the dictionary to look that word up. You need to do that so that you get the answer choice, get your answers correct. Okay, so in this passage, it seems like they're just giving us just the facts about a vaccine. They're not giving us opinion. They're not expressing any kind of feeling. And because of that, I think objective is the best choice, because that means not putting bias or opinion. We don't have any arrogant evidence of arrogance here. I guess it could be read with arrogance, but the actual word choice does not show that the speaker is arrogant towards vaccines or even the audience. Doesn't seem to be regretting to give the vaccine, so the only answer choice that we have proof for is objective. Here's one more. Why do these things always happen to me? Brad wondered. First, I forget an important meeting, and nobody reminds me until it's over. Then my boss dumps a big project on my desk and wants it done by yesterday. And to top everything off, I leave my wallet on the bus. Okay, our choices are comic, self-pitying, and optimistic. Okay, I think this could be a comic passage, but it probably would depend on how it was read and how a person did their gestures. If they had a passage, if they had something about, like, my day couldn't get any worse unless, there's a way this could be delivered to a comic effect. However, looking just at the word choice and the syntax, why does this happen to me? Then nobody reminds me till it's over. Then my boss dumps a big project on my desk. Seems like this person is blaming everyone but himself. Does not seem optimistic at all, which is, feeling positive. So self-pitying is the best choice. So you'll have to do that with 3 or 4 passages that you'll read, and you will choose the best tone word that goes with the passage. Remember, you're looking at the word choice, the sentence structure, and images that are created. Okay, last is the expository essay section. Now, you will not have to write an expository essay, but you need to be aware of the parts of it and how to craft it and the reasons to craft it. So my suggestion is you go back to the first 6 weeks folders, which are in Schoology. Look at the week of September 14 through 18, all of the lessons that I posted about expository essays can help. This is the lesson video from the very first lesson about crafting expository essays, which could help you because you are going to fill out a graphic organizer. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up so you can start thinking about it now. Begin thinking of a strong thesis and specific examples from history, personal experiences, literature, pop culture, science or sports. Remember the helps? Be thinking of some examples that would go with this prompt. Okay, so here is the prompt. Write an essay explaining how greed can affect a person's life. Okay, so if we reworded that into the how, what, or why question, which I always ask you to do, the question that you'll be answering in your thesis will talk about 2 ways that greed can affect a person's life. How can greed affect a person's life? So if you had read the Christmas Carol or watched the movie, you might would refer to how greed affected Scrooge's life. You could think back to personal experiences. You could think back to TV shows, other books that you have read. I want you to consider, because you'll have to fill out a graphic organizer for this prompt. How can greed affect a person's life? I hope this information is helpful to you. I know you're going to do great tomorrow. Don't be worried. It's only 10% of the total average, and I'm not worried. You're able to use your resources, but I just wanted to make sure you felt comfortable with those particular sections of the test. All right, guys, have a great day.